My name is Senetta Moll, Senetta May Moll, because I'm named for my grandmas, both of my grandmas. And I was born in my grandma Burma's house while my mother was going through this ordeal. She looked up and she says, oh, and Grandma thought, oh dear, she's dying.
Oh no!
But all of a sudden the light went on.
The day she was born, the electricity was turned on in Celeryville.
That was 1921, in September the 17th.
Mom was a Burma, and the Burmas and Wirzes were way up north
In Groningen?
Mm-hmm. But Dad was from Zealand, down the other end.
Yeah. That's cool.
The malls.
Nice.
In a town called Oos. And we walked around town and there was a store, Moll store.
Do you know what your
Moll
name?
store here, Moll store in Oos. But it had M-O-L, it didn't have M-O-L-L.
Right.
When Dad come across, they added L.
Gotcha.
When Grandpa come across.
Do you know what mall means in Dutch?
It's mill. There must have been a big windmill there. And
Yeah.
Weirs means big ears.
That's not true. So what was Celeryville like? Was it a lot smaller back then? Were the roads
Yes.
different?
yes, the road was different. It was cemented on one side and stones on the other side. And when we went roller skating, often we'd fall and those stones went into your knees. So we had to dig them out.
So who were you friends with?
Oh, my cousins.
Yeah?
Mariellen, Coke Danhoff.
Okay.
And I had a group of friends when I was a teenager who, there were 6 of us, and we were called the Just Us Girls. Our Christian school, did that start, do you remember what year that was?
You better believe it. It started in 1930, the year I was born.
Oh.
Okay.
They looked at you and they're like, that guy needs to be educated properly.
What's your name?
I didn't go to school with diapers on.
I had 8 brothers and 2 sisters.
Senetta, Frank, and Herman, Kenny, Donnie, Roger, Janice, Lois, David, Lynn, and Keith.
Yeah.
Kept getting real good and then it slumped off and went downhill again. 5 in front of me and 5 behind me.
Aw.
And Mom had one baby that died before it was born. So she really had 12 children.
Okay, like in 1948, before people started getting married off, Franklin, Herman, Kenny, Donnie, Roger, David. There was 6 of us, 6 boys and 3 beds in that bedroom. And then Senetta and Janice and Lois in the other bedroom. And Lynn and Keith sleep downstairs with Dad and Mom in that bedroom.
And I saw one Sunday
Really?
that my sister Lois wrote to our aunt and uncle in California, waiting for the next day's surgery.
She was on the operating table in Cleveland Clinic when she died.
The young man who did surgery on her was a surgeon in the war. And he says, we learned how to do that in the war. So we decided, okay, I guess it's all right to have her go through that, but she died on the table. The whole town grieves.
Yeah.
Because everybody was so close at
yeah.
that time.
Arlene and Lois were like that.
Really?
She was, felt so bad when Lois died. And if she was out of commission for a week, she just laid in bed and cried.
She was 15.
Wow, that's so sad.
Just imagine.
I can't imagine.
And she looked she liked sports real well, enjoyed it, and the boys would get a game together, and go way back in the pastures. That's when they were pastures instead of cornfields.
Yeah.
And she would keep score. She could do that.
But she couldn't run because of her lungs?
Really kept up quite well.
Okay.
But she had pneumonia when she was a child, and had to watch her always.
Yeah.
A deep cough.
30 started out with a bang, because that's when I was born. I was born right when the Depression started.
Yeah.
October of 29 is when the stock market crashed,
Mm-hmm.
and I was born in 30, so
Yeah. Wow.
everybody was poor,
Yeah.
even the rich people. Tell them about no presents this Christmas.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
They were looking through we were looking through the catalog. And when my brothers looked at it, they looked at guns. When I looked, I wanted to see the dolls. Oh, you just want to see the dolls. I said, yeah, you could look at that too. No way. My Grandma Berman knew about that.
Aw.
So she said, she bought me a doll and Mom dressed it.
Aw. That's cute.
But I had to have a new doll every year because one of my brothers would get a hold of it and they'd play tag with it. So if I wasn't here to rescue my baby,
It would ruin it.
it would just be rags by the time I got it back again.
That's too funny.
So they said, don't look for Christmas presents this year because we just don't have it.
Yeah.
It's
Can you
better to
imagine that?
feed you than to play with you.
I know. That's crazy.
But kids found their own things to
Yeah.
do.
Mm-hmm.
In a place like this, there was always other friends to play ball with and so on. And then they started on the muck real early too. It was enjoyable. We didn't even know we didn't realize we were poor.
When did your family make the mall store?
I think my dad bought the store in the 40s during the war, wasn't it?
It was so poor around here, the older people had to help.
Yeah.
And John Weir's, your great uncle that owned the store before Dad did, he'd give credit, And one family in Celeryville, I won't tell you the name, they owed John Weir's money till Uncle John went to the grave.
Yeah.
That was back at the turn of the century.
Okay.
Very, very first
people.
years.
Gotcha.
Very, very first years.
Aw, that's so cool though.
They come here and you can imagine they had to grow a little bit of celery and try to live off of it.
Yeah.
Very poor,
Yeah.
very poor. Everybody in Celeryville was uncle and aunt.
Still are.
Yeah, that's right. I feel honored to be aunt to that many people.
The deal was when the war started and they started drafting before the war, like Henry Eddard, Uncle Henry, he had to go in terrible. But Frank, because his dad was a farmer, one boy out of each family could get a farm deferment.
Oh.
And Frank Weir's got one, and John Burma Jr. of Uncle Bill and Aunt Peggy's son, and Franklin Moll, he could get it deferment. But Herman, Kenny, Donnie, Roger, Janet, David, Len, and Keith all went in the Army. But one guy could stay home because they worked on a farm and they needed the food during the war. Uncle Frank Weir stayed home, but Clore and Eddie didn't, your grandpa.
Yeah.
Normie got a deferment somehow or other, I don't know. He got married early, I know that.
Okay, we went to church, in the old church, and there was places where everybody sat. And don't you go sitting in somebody else's seat. But the Molls, because there were so many of us, the consistory sat in the second row, and the Moll family sat in the first row, because my dad was always in the consistory. And he could keep track of us kids sitting in front of him, getting pinches and stuff like that. It was strict.
That's right.
We didn't behave, we got a spanking when we got home, you better believe it.
What was Sunday like after church? What could you do?
We could read.
We had to stay in our own yard,
Yeah.
the Moll boys and girls.
Could you ride your bike or anything?
Oh, no.
No way. Number one, we didn't have bikes to ride, and no, we wouldn't be able to leave the yard.
There was Dutch service in the afternoon too.
Yeah,
Dutch
Yeah.
service?
English in the morning and night, and Dutch in the afternoon.
That's cool. Who wanted to go to the Dutch service? Because didn't everyone who knew Dutch, they also knew English, right?
there were a few old fogies in town that never
Learned English.
comprehended English. They had to accommodate them.
It was hard for those people to give up their Dutch because they understood most, the best in the Dutch.
Sunday night after church, Mom and Dad would have company, and one time us boys got naughty. We had to go to the bathroom, so we peed out the window, and it's raining outside. The company thought it was raining outside. Boy, did we get our hind end blistered that time. After the company left. Ben and Zeus, Arlene's, they didn't have running water. I can remember Grandpa or Ben bringing water in his car, a couple or 3 buckets from, I don't know where,
Yeah.
Maybe from the farm, huh?
from the farm or from New Myers or someplace.
So you grew up right next to your future wife.
Married the girl next door, just like Hollywood.